This week, the Prime Minister of Turkey, Erdogan, made an amazing comment which can be tied into a little known and even lesser understood prophecy found in the Bible. This week, the Prime Minister said Turkey will seek a prominent role in coordinating Muslim reactions to the U.S. move. Of course, what Erdogan was talking about was the decision by President Trump to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Of course, this is something that the U.S. did more or less unilaterally, but now has caused this uprising in the Middle East and this focus on Israel yet once again. Now, the prophecy is found in Psalm 83. Now, a lot of times when we think of Psalms, we think of the hymns, the songs, and we don't realize the amount of revelatory information that can actually be found in the book of Psalms. Now, in particular, in the book of Psalms, chapter 83, we find this prophecy for the end time. It's a psalm that is written by Asaph, and it has not found any fulfillment since this time of King David. In Psalm 83, and beginning in verse 2, it says, "Your enemies make a tumult." And then verse 3, "They take a crafty counsel against your people." So it's speaking about their animosity for God, but also their animosity for the people of Israel. It says, going on, "They have consulted together against your sheltered ones," being Israel, "and they have said, 'Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more.'" And then verse 5, "They have consulted together with one consent. They form a confederacy against you." So these people that we're about to get into here in verse 6 are coming together. They want to form a confederation. Now, the first one listed here in verse 6 is Edom. Edom is more or less the mortal enemy of Israel. They have been through since biblical times, and Edom is Esau, Jacob's brother, Jacob who became Israel. These two have been fighting ever since, and it's only been by the hand of God that Esau, or Edom, has not obliterated Israel, and Malachi speaks to that. But there is a time coming in the future when Israel, modern day Judah, will need to be reprimanded, and that restraint will be loosed. And it's interesting that the first one that is mentioned here is Edom, who is modern day Turkey. Now, we go through this a lot more in depth, and you might want to check out our Bible study, just some written up notes on the greaterchurchofgod.org website under Psalm 83. Just do a search on that and you will find it. Also, and this is nothing new, this is nothing that we're making up on the spot, you can go see that also we have a chart on the Table of Nations, the identification of ancient names and put them together with modern names so that we can better understand Bible prophecy. Now, back to Psalm 83. Verse 6 says, the first one is Edom. It's Turkey. Okay? And often in the Bible, the first one has a certain amount of importance that is assigned to it. But then it goes on and says, okay, all these peoples will be coming together, and as we go through them, and we can see, and going, well, of course we can see this today when you understand who they are, that most of these are entirely Muslim nations. It says the Ishmaelites, who are in the area of Saudi Arabia, Moab, who is down towards Jordan, the Hagrites, who are Syria, then you got Gebal, who's Lebanon, and it goes on with Ammon, Amalek, Philistia, the Palestinians, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Now, Tyre is also a name for the beast power, so it puts us in the latter times, the very end times that this is taking place. And so what we see happening and what Erdogan is calling for is this summit of a pan-Islamic group to address these things in Israel. Of course, they absolutely hate Israel, as they always have, and when this final confederation comes together, which this may very well be the beginning of, they will go against Israel with all the force that they can muster. And now, one more interesting thing, too, in verse 8, it says, Assyria will join with them. Now, Assyria is modern-day Germany. And it just so happens that this move of the embassies and this call for this summit and this confederation has incited even the Germans. They are burning Israeli flags over near the gate of Brandenburg, the Brandenburg Gate. So what we're seeing here are a lot of pieces coming together and a possible fulfillment of this end time prophecy. So I encourage you to continue to stay tuned as we watch for more signs of the times.